want to do this, they want to add this, they want to add that. It's a removal process.
What's happening, everybody? Alright, set up the background music here. Put it in the screen. Hope everybody's having a good week. Go New York City. Yeah. That's right. That's right. I only said that because I get people on my live here whenever I go off about art. They're like, bet this guy's a liberal. Did not know that.
iPhone 17.
Alright. Got the vibes. Yeah. Hope you can see me. Hope I got enough light over here. Let's see. Nobody's on. Just talking to myself. I'm talking to myself. Follow up. Hit the follow button. That's right. Alright. So back to my art. Great. Some people ask, what are you doing? What is this? And I love the curiosity because I don't even know what I'm doing. But in theory, to give you some context, because the last episode was all about context, you know, we shouldn't be able to explain our art. Most artists are awful at it. That's why we rely on critics. Like, hey, can you title this for me? I don't even know what I did. That's literally what Jackson Pollock did at one time. He had one of his poet friends come title all his works because he was like, I have no. I'm not trashing on Pollock, he's my hero. I'm just saying, artists, we are told to explain our art because we're trying to, like I said, add context to the world, explain, make it legit. But no, sometimes we can get caught up in that though. And I don't feel like that's what art is all about. As much as we're constantly seeking explanations as humans. art is sometimes the exact opposite of that, you know. But to explain what I'm doing, this is abstract expressionism, as you can see in the first base layer. It's a bit of design, like parametric design, you could see it. Look up parametric design for you to know what I'm talking about. It has a bit of the calligraphy that I'm picking up now. It's a bit of everything. It's a bit of my love for the drawing table as an architect in high school. I did not go to architect in college, so I'm not like an architect at all. Like I took 3 years of architectural drawing in high school, so it's like we had to learn pretty much the basics and how to draw it on a drawing table. This is before computers. I'm kind of fucking old, so. But yeah. Also, the high school I went to back in 2003. So I graduated 2006 from high school, but between 03 and 06, we had a very old high school. It wasn't until I graduated that we got a brand new state-of-the-art high school. But our class got to go to Disney because they felt so bad for us from all the construction. But anyways, during those days, I had to learn architectural drawing on these old school drafting tables that they had in the school. And it was cool. I loved it. I fucking loved every minute of it. Until the day came when the teacher just plopped a mechanical piece. It was like a part. And he's like, all right, you guys got to draft this on the computer using CAD key. And I'm like, no, not going to happen. Have fun, buddy. I'm going to just keep drawing on the table. And the teacher was like, but this is part of your schoolwork. You have to use it. I'm like, no, I'm not using the computer. There's no way I can pay attention. let alone just give my eyeballs to the screen like that. You know. I'll play video games all the time though. Mm-hmm. But even that faded away very quickly. So that's my explanation for the work that I'm doing. I guess it's a rebellion against the system. It's a calling for your own unique voice, I guess, in the world. But anyways, I hope that explained it. I also envision these as little cities in the metaverse. I want to get technical, get visual about it. I do feel like we are living in the age of information, of code. This is the second age of data and plotting and pinpointing, computing. I don't know. Whenever I look at this, I get so many vibes, like so many different little pulls here and there. And then I've had people tune in live and saying that I'm channeling certain artists. So I'm like, bro, I am on another level here. I don't even know. You know? So that's cool. I'm on the metaphysical plane. If I was to use Kandinsky, that's the guy, man. He's the man. When I read his book, I literally jumped out and ran to the art store to buy art supplies. And here I am.
visits Leave an email from Liberty Mutual, who helps save you hundreds by customizing your car insurance.
And his partner Doug is the gentleman under the security guard. Only paid for two.
So if you're curious as to how I go about deciding each stroke, I kind of went over this part of the process on another live, but when you're doing this work this close to a canvas, the beauty of the canvas is that if you keep looking just enough, like you start to see the holographic grid within the canvas in your mind, and it's kind of cool. It's part of the reason why I'm doing this. I'm using a calligraphy pen on the canvas is because it does serve as a guide that's perfect for the pen. Sometimes it's not as smooth as it would be for paper, and if I was using a legit calligraphy brush, you know, where it's like a really long, I don't know if I'd have the same control. Maybe that's something I ought to try, but I love the tip of the pen. I love the power it gives, the control I get. And most of all, because I am kind of studying calligraphy, I'm trying to get used to the tip of the pen and the flow, and getting used to the stroke, you know what I mean? So the story can go on over here. The things you sort of pick up along the way just by doing it, you know? I've seen so many artists like draw grids on a canvas, and I'm like, sometimes you do need it if you got that base layer and you're trying to respect certain forms and sizes, but I'm like, why are you drawing a grid? There's a grid on the canvas, bro. You know? I don't know. They could be looking at what I'm doing now and be like, why are you doing this? My technique here, my grid is using the base layer as the grid, as the foundation for the next layer, and then I build from that. It makes it so that as much as I kind of expect what I'll do, like I know exactly what I sit down and I know exactly what I need to do, there is a curiosity aspect that I don't know what's going to happen and where my mind is going to see the lines. It's a very basic approach, but then it allows me to sort of express myself, you know, and maintain the first philosophy from the canvas, which is abstract expressionism. And then I'm following with learning technique for calligraphy, and also just developing my design eye and the sculpting, and taking advantage of the plastic medium. This is why painting, they refer to it as plastic arts. I never understood that initially. It was like, why is it plastic? It's not plastic, they're painting, you know, what's going on? But when authors refer to the plastic arts, it's just the fact that even though I'm painting and it is a fixed layer, it's not plastic. The flexibility that the painting has is me being able to utilize color and form on top of that and molding the canvas as it shapes itself. So that's the plasticity in the medium. It can always take different shape and form, so it can build on itself, right? another influence, another major artist here though, that if you start to see this design that I'm applying, it's MC Escher. This is, sometimes people would consider this a Sharian art, or yeah. I think it is a movement. I could be just making that word up. But MC Escher. He's the man. He's the fucking OG, bro. This is actually like forefather of graphic design in a way. He's both an artist and a designer, you know. But even though he's mostly known as an artist, he was an engraver too, and he engraved images for the local paper and whatnot, so this guy really knew his business and how to draw. MC his books. You get his books from the library. Maybe I should put up my library list of books that I've gotten in the past, just a couple of years of me picking up this art and developing this language, because I feel like they all sort of contributed a bit visually, you know. When you have a creative outlook in the world, whether it's visually or musically, like, or if you're a very vivid writer, you know, can be very prolific, you can easily become very sensitive to the information around you that uses those contexts, and you're learning from it without knowing that you're actually learning. It becomes so subconscious to you. So point being is, like, I've looked at so many of these art books that I should be able to explain exactly what it is that I'm doing, but the truth is also that a lot of the images are just kind of like plugged in my subconscious, and for me to really make connections, distinct connections, it has to happen like I just did, where some of this drawing that I'm doing is sort of me channeling MC Escher in a way. He really toyed with the idea of implementing ultimate perspectives within the canvas. You know, he was the guy that you could literally hold a figurative picture in different angles, and he could maintain that composition. It's very cool. Should I keep going? Thank you. About the station. What's happening, everybody? Background music that I have going on. It's just like a YouTube copyright music. Let's see if I can show you. So it's just like one of these guys. 12 hours of free background copyright free music. I say copyright, but then I still get strikes on the lives. One day I'll afford some music that's copyright. Get it going. That would be cool. Imagine if I get popping. I'll become famous. And then you get people sending me their music for their lives. That would be dope. There's a lot of great artists out there today. We live in a very good era.
folks, Chris Amrell here with Safe Responsible Movers in Boston, Massachusetts. Common question that comes up that clients will ask is, where can I buy boxes for my move? So we have a few recommendations here. First off is Home Depot. They actually have a really good selection. Being a big box store like they are, they generally have a lot of stuff in stock, including heavy-duty boxes, which is really nice. Lowe's is another large hardware store that falls under the same category. They usually have a pretty good selection at reasonable prices. Also, U-Haul is a great option. They cater exclusively to folks who are moving. So it's a big part of their business model to sell boxes and other packing supplies. Their prices are going to be, they're not quite as good as Home Depot or Lowe's, but they're going to be better than pretty much anywhere else besides Amazon.
You're home for the holidays, back in your old room. Oh, at least you can get a deal on new shorts for Dad. Something with a little more coverage.
This might be a wrap, y'all. Alright, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'll get back to your comments. Try to answer as many questions as I can. Peace out. Thanks for tuning in if you did.